Um, Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you and welcome to this webinar for Google Classroom and other technology questions. I wanted to just let you know that Mr. Greg Coe, the Director of Technology, will start with a very short presentation reviewing Aries and how to access or change your student email. And then after that, Mr. Peter Vallejo, who's our technology teacher on assignment, he will then review how to access Google Classroom, which is what we were hoping to do today. But what I want to ask you to do is if we could have you hold your questions until towards the end of the presentation, so that many of them might already be answered, and then we don't have to go through lots of repeated questions. That would be helpful. So just wait a little bit until towards the end of the presentation and then put your questions in the chat. And then after they're finished with their presentation, we are going to answer many of the questions you have in there, hopefully. And if we don't get to them all, don't worry, we're going to capture them and do an FAQ and send it out. So with that, Mr. Coe.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm going to kind of walk you through the how to find out what your child's login and password is. And to find this information, it's in Aries. So you can go in through your Aries parent portal. So let's take a look right here. Okay. So if you go to the district website, you're going to go to Families and then to Aries parent portal. And many of you have already been to the parent portal because this is where you've done your registration. So once you log into parent portal, then you're going to come and you're going to want to find this page. And sorry, it's so small. This is kind of the, this is a piece that I have on the website. But you're going to come and find the student info. And then down here, you'll see password, and then you'll see their internet ID. Now, I just heard from my team that Aries right now is having a problem for all of the new families and for new students that are trying to get into the portal. Let me just share with you that the easy way for you to find your child's login and password is it's their student ID. So it's their student ID at cv.k12.ca.us. And then what we've done is we made the default password their student ID. So you can use that to get into the Chromebook and get them familiar with the Chromebook. And we really hope that Aries will fix the portal, and that'll be hopefully fixed tomorrow. And then you can get in through the parent portal, and then you can change the temporary password so that you can, and then it'll be kind of a more secure password, if you will. Okay. So once again, it's from the Castro Valley website, and you're going to go for Families, and you go to the Aries portal. And then from there, you can go to the student info up here on the top. And then you're going to choose supplemental. These are the ones you can do. Okay. I sent this information out on a s'more, and maybe you got the newsletter from your principal. But also, if you come over to departments, and then you can take a look under technology services, and then you can click here for technology resources. And this is kind of one of the new resources that we're putting together, and I'm sorry, and I will add more things. But if you look on your parents, you'll find some of our resources here. You can look at the description of our program. There's some tools and some other links here. Tech support request. So if you have problems, you can go ahead and submit here through your tech support, and it's just a Google request, so you can do that. Here's the page that I had just showed and put up on the screen, and this is for your Google account. Okay, and then there's some other links here that will help you as well too. Okay, all right, thank you very much. Hopefully that will get you guys started. And then Peter is going to share more information about Google Classroom and how to get into Google Classroom and working inside of Google Classroom as you're helping your children. If you have any questions, go ahead and use the question and answer and chat box, and I'll be working in there as well. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Vallejo, the Technology teacher on special assignment. So generally I support teachers with using more technology in their teaching, which is clearly happening these days. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to start going over some resources available to you, as well as go over Google Classroom. Okay, so as Mr. Ko shared from the district website, if you go to For Families, in this case, 2021 resources during COVID-19, I'll go and click there. I'm going to scroll down. There are a number of resources available to you. In this case, I'm going to be focusing on distance learning resources for families. Once you click here, you're going to have some tech things, and most of you actually noticed you've been to this site before because this is how you registered down here. And again, some of the topics today we'll be looking at the resources on the page for families. And then a good portion of the time will be focused on Google Classroom, joining class, general navigation, submitting work, and questions afterwards. So I'll go back to the top of our page. And these particular resources, again, focus on Google Classroom, will be under resources for CVUSD families. So I'll click there. Okay, so on this page, I'll be going over a lot of material in a short period of time. Now this page here provides a lot of help resources. So these are resources produced by Google. So they are essentially text with screenshots. And again, it's straight from Google, so they're pretty up to date and work pretty well. So I'll go ahead and kind of scroll through these. Now these, in this case, what the students see would be, if you're helping your child in the district, it would be the same thing. So these apply to the kid, and you would just kind of see how they're done, or the student. There's one thing that's specific to parent or guardian summaries, which I'll go over in a second. On this page, if you or your child would like to do some kind of additional stuff in Google, there are Google product trainings available here. And then at the bottom of this page, we have tutorials. These are all anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. This one deals with logging into a Chromebook. This one is a kind of what we're going to be going over today. We also have a person named Eric Kurtz, who does a great job with also showing how students submit work specifically. And then this last presentation here, slideshow, will actually show you how kids can submit work using an app on a phone or a tablet. So I'll go back up to the top. Okay, an example of something we're going to go over today. This will be recorded and available to you. But that being said, if you like things chunked up in text or like to see shorter versions, you can also go to these help pages. So for example, if I want to see how to join a class, and again, this is for students, you can click join a class. And here we'll give you directions on how a student joins a class on a computer, Android, iPhone, iPad, and gives them the various options. And again, these are all text-based with screenshots. So let me move out of this one here. Also, a thing that's going to happen frequently is join a video conference. So this shows the students how to do that. Again, a number of things that are pertinent to most Google Classrooms across the district. Now, a quick note is that when we're talking about joining classes as students, so basically families and guardians cannot join what's called a Google Classroom, but they can receive, per request to teachers, they can receive parent guardian summaries. So if you navigate to this link here, it gives you more information as to how parent guardian summaries work. And essentially what they are is, rather than you being able to access the Google Classroom as a student does, and there's privacy issues around that, you would actually sign up for receiving, I believe it's either daily or weekly email with a digest, or essentially a document that shows what work has been assigned, completed, etc., in the various classrooms of the student. So again, that's available to parents. Again, you would need to request that from the teachers. So that is a quick walkthrough of the website that provides resources. And as time goes on, we're trying to keep this relatively simple and not overwhelming. So there may be a handful of videos that are added as we see the need comes about from families and parents. So again, that's the website. Okay, what I'm going to go ahead and jump into is Google Classroom. Now, all students should be receiving a Chromebook if they have not already. So that's pretty straightforward. Basically, once a student opens the Chromebook, as Mr. Ko pointed out, they would just put in their user ID and password. If a person is new to the district, either transferring from a different school district or a young student, then again, the default should be the student ID as their password. Once a student opens and logs into Chromebook, the landing page will look something like this. Now, students can customize the background. So mine's this pretty view in the background, which I didn't get to do this summer, but hey, maybe next summer I'd look forward to that. But this will be similar to what they land on. Now, for the students to go to Google Classroom, teachers will be communicating with their students in different ways and with families. So basically, a teacher may email a code directly to families to access Google Classroom. They may actually just give them a link to go to classroom.google.com. There's various ways that teachers may do this. Now, one way, just being in the Chromebook, is in the upper right-hand corner. And once a student logs into Chromebook, it logs them into everything that's Google. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a thing that's often called the apps waffle. So if the student clicks here, Google Classroom will be one of the options. In addition, for most Chromebooks, again, students can customize this, but most Chromebooks, there's this thing on the bottom called the shelf. And with the shelf, there's also Google Classroom icon here. And in mine in particular, there happens to be a Google Classroom here as well. And one last way, I'll go ahead and just type classroom.google.com. So there's multiple ways that a student can get to their classes. Okay, I'll kind of close out some of these screens so we don't have too much going on here. So this is the landing page for Google Classroom. Now, if your student, again, is new to the district, either as a young, like say, kinder student or transferred, you would probably see 0 or very few Google Classrooms. There may even just be one. Now, on the other hand, if you've been in the district or the student has been in the district for years and or they're a secondary student, you're going to have multiple classrooms happening. So this is the landing page. You're going to see a number of classrooms, or you may see as few as one if at least one teacher is using Google Classroom. Now, a student is going to want to join a class. So the way to do that is there are two primary ways. One way is if the teacher communicates with the family or the student. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a plus sign. They click plus sign. In the middle of the screen, it will ask for a code. So that code will have to be provided by a teacher. In this case, I believe this is a 7-digit code. So I can enter that code and click join. That's one method. Okay, and again, these are in the video clips that are on the resource site. Okay, in addition to that, another way that can happen, depends on the teacher, is if the teacher manually entered in the email of each of the students, the student would see a tile with a join button. So again, those are the two primary ways. So if your child does not see this, but the teacher said that they have a code, you would again click the plus sign upper right hand corner. You would enter the code. Don't use this one, but you would enter the code and then they can join that way. Or again, if they have been invited by the teacher, they would see a join button. I'm going to go ahead and click the join button. It may take a moment, especially when school starts. There might be a ton of students jumping onto classrooms at the same time. Okay, so this is a landing page for Google Classroom. I named mine Family PD, Google Classroom. And to just give you a quick, I'll repeat some concepts, but a quick lay of the land is Google Classroom is essentially a way for teachers and students to manage communication and student work, especially digital work. So that's its main design function and how it works. So we'll go over lay of the land and then go into more details of how students turn in work. So just starting at the top, here's the title of the class. There's the stream, which is essentially like a blog style posting where announcements and assignments will flow down below. So that's down here, and I'll go in greater detail in a moment. There's a classwork page or tab at the very top. This is going to be the bulk of where teachers and students manage the work that they're doing. It's very important. And then the people page is essentially where you would see classmates. Now in this case, it's a demonstration account, so you don't see other students, but your child would see other students that are in the class. So I'm going to go back to the home page. Now, again, this is the title for one class, so if I ever needed to transfer or toggle to different classes, there was that home page we landed on that had the tiles. But if I click on this what's called the main menu or triple stack, if I click here and go to classes, I can go back to all my other classes if I need to flip through different classes. So I'll go back to the one that we're working on, Family PD. So with this triple stack, again, that allows me to go back to the other view. You're going to notice there's a calendar, there's a to-do list. Notice enrolled, it shows all the courses I'm enrolled in. Again, this is similar to that tile page that I just showed you a second ago. And then also at the very bottom, we have archived classes, which means past classes a student was in for previous years, and then settings. So that's the far left navigation that would show up. Now from here, again, there's two ways to get to a calendar, and I'll come back to the calendar after we have after we've looked at some assignments. Okay, now I'm going to progress through the stream page, which again is the landing page for students. And teachers will be organizing their stream classwork, their stream and their classwork in different ways. So note that this is just an example that has common things that teachers will do, but it doesn't mean all teachers will do it exactly the same. So in this case, again, once the student clicks on a class, they will go to the stream. You'll see a title for the class and some type of image. Most teachers will have a Meet link available. This is a link for video conferencing. So you can access video conferencing from this link as well as on the classwork page. I'll go and scroll down on the left. We have upcoming. So this right here shows you upcoming assignments that will be needed to be worked on by the child or the student. This just shows a compressed version of it. So if I click view all, it will show me a list of assignments. Again, this is a demonstration account or Google Classroom, so I have very few. So that, again, from the stream page, the very top left, upcoming, you can see things in that manner. Over here, we have what are announcements. And again, a teacher may or may not have announcements, and they may or may not also have assignments posted here. Now, I like to use this personally as kind of like a blog or like an interactive scheme with students. So for example, I ask or have a little introductory things saying, what do you look forward to this year? So as a student where it says add a comment, I can say, I miss learning about math. Okay, and they can submit this comment. Now, this is set up where all students can submit a comment. Notice it says the student's name and what they said. Once that's pushed out, then other students can also add their comments. And in many cases, depending on the settings of the teacher, the other students can reply. I have a computer on my left that has the teacher view. So I'm gonna go over here and say, me too. And I'm going to send that message out. Okay, in some cases, I might need to refresh to see what the response was. So now I can see that basically this being my name responded saying me too. So there might be teacher and or student interaction that's happening. So again, that's add comment. And then again, it can be a discussion board for students. Okay, again, that is the stream. I'm going to go to the next page, which, as I stated earlier, is going to be the bulk of where most teachers manage their assignments as well as students. Okay, on this one, I'm also going to go over the lay of the land. So on the far left, you can see all topics. So notice week 1, week 2. So I have week 1 here, week 2 here. So it lists all topics. I can use this here to filter down. So if like, okay, I'm done with week 1, I want to just see week 2. Now that we're done with week 1, I might click week 2. You'll notice week 2 on the left is blue. And then that's the only thing that I'm seeing here is all the work from week 2. If I want to go back to all the topics, I just go to the top and go all topics. Okay, now you can see these correlate. So on the left, all topics, these are topics. So week 1 is a topic, week 2. Now this seems to be a very popular way that teachers like to organize the topics that they have, but you might have a teacher that says something like English language arts, August 13 to 14, math, August 13 to 14, or they may not even say anything about a week or a date. They might just have it topics like math, literacy, etc. So these main headings are called the topics. And again, we're in classwork. Okay, now within the topics, we have different assignments. So for a student to interact with an assignment, let's say we're done with week 1. Now we are in week 2. At this point, I'm going to go over the classwork. I'm going to go over topic, and I'm going to go over various examples of assignments the kids might be doing in a Google Classroom. Again, this is just an example. Teachers may organize theirs differently. Let's click on this one that says video conference August 17th at 9 a.m. So I'm going to click on this as a student. It's going to fold out and it's going to say use this link to join. So it's going to give me the information that the teacher gave. I recommend in many cases that you click view assignment because that will give you the full view of this particular assignment. So again, I'm going to click it once. It's going to fold out. I see some basic information. I see when it's due. I see that it's assigned. I'm going to see view assignment. So in this case, the teacher is saying, hey, we have a video conference at this time. Here's the link you're going to use to get to that video conference. So a student may click on this, join a video conference, and then after they've joined the video conference, they could say mark is done to indicate that they actually attended the class. So the teacher has a record that they were there as well as other evidence. So I'm going to just click mark is done. And again, this is the student saying, okay, I attended the conference. So this could be an example of what a teacher asks a student to do. And I'll come back to what a video conference looks like. Okay, to collapse it, I just close it down. Now I'm going to go to a different assignment, material, vowel video. So this is a certain kind of assignment that's pushed out by teachers. It has a little icon of a book with a little bookmark. So if I click here, again, I recommend it folds out. You kind of see the basics. I recommend you go view at the bottom. Okay, once I go here, you're going to notice that it has the title of the assignment. It has a video that they can watch. Students can send a class comment. In this case, there is no mark is done as turn in on the right side because this is a material. So materials don't have points or deadlines associated with them. Again, that's a material. Another example, I'm going to go and collapse this one, would be a question. What is your favorite vowel? So let's say this is an assignment. This would be similar to a lower grade, but these types of things apply to all grade levels. I'm going to open this assignment so it folds out. Again, this gives me a basic understanding of what the assignment is, but I'm going to want to view the question. So when there is a question, and notice I title it that way, although teachers may not, just depends. But I said, what is your favorite vowel and why? Here I have a video that they can watch, which was similar to the other postings. And it says, after watching the video, answer the question and select turn in or submit. So the kid could click on this video, they can click play. So they play that video and then they're like, you know what? My favorite vowel is all right, I'm a slow typer. Okay, so notice that once I start typing in here, this button turned blue. So again, when you have something that's the question type, you would actually answer the question on the far right, and then I can turn in. It's going to ask me to verify that I want to turn it in, and I'm going to click turn in. A feature that may or may not be turned on by an individual teacher is after the student turns in their assignment, they may be able to see classmate answers, and this will appear. So notice I had to type in for the turn in button to turn blue, and then below I wasn't able to see classmate answers until I actually submit my answer. And then students can actually, if a teacher sets this up in this manner, students can actually interact with each other on each other's answers, which is rather nice. In addition to that, there's private comments. So if I send a private comment, this goes to my teacher only. Okay, so I'm gonna just send that. So this message is a private comment, meaning it only goes to the teacher. It does not go to the whole class. On the other hand, a student, if this is turned on, might say, they might want help from other students. So they might say, can someone help me with the directions? Now this might be a case where it's like 11 o'clock and a student's working on something, the teacher is off duty, and they may want to ask a question to the class. So this would be a class comment that goes out to everybody. So all students would be able to see this comment, whereas private comment only goes to the teacher, and the teacher can respond to the private comment, meaning the student would be the only one that sees that private comment. But anything placed on this bottom class comment is something that's visible to all students. In addition to that, if it's a question type, we can do classmate answers. And that's another view where, again, if this was a real class, you'd see a whole list of students and they'd be able to reply and interact with each other. Okay, so again, that is a question type of assignment that a teacher puts out. Okay, I'm gonna have one that's called assignment, but that again may be named different by your teacher. It folds out, I click view assignment. Okay, and in this case, it says assignment short vowel song, gives some directions. It says open the document, follow the directions, select turn in or submit when done. So if I look over here on the far right, I pushed out a document where every student gets a copy. So this student, their name is Pedro Vallejo, and they already have a copy waiting for them. So the student would click that to open it. Once they open it, in this case, I put the directions in the document itself. So it says type a 3-letter word for each value, example, a bat. So let's say I'll say cat. Okay, I just did some auto formatting. You can not worry about that. We can say bed, etc. Okay, once the student is done with it, there is a turn on button on the document itself. Okay, so you could turn it in there, but if you want to keep your child or a student to kind of being consistent, you could always close that document and then turn in from here instead. That way you're always turning in from the Google Classroom assignment. But again, it does still work to actually open the assignment, and some, depending on the file format, will allow you to turn it in directly from the assignment itself. It's taking a little while to load, but hopefully you kind of caught a glimpse of that before. There we go. So that would be up here. And again, you have the features of where you can do a class comment and you can do private comments to the teacher. So this is an example where a teacher pushes out a document where each student gets their own copy of it and they complete it. Okay, we also have this last one that's a kind of assignment, attach a photo of student work. So again, then it folds out. Okay, this one right here, I can't fully model because it's using an app, but this is on the website where it has the family resources. So I'm gonna click view assignment. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and click on that link. And again, you have access to this on the website. And the reason why I pull this one out and show this specifically is because if a student needs to take a photograph of their work, this is the absolute most efficient way. There are a couple other ways, but it's very kind of tedious or has a number of steps. So this would be the easiest. So this is just screenshots because I was using the app on a tablet in this case, but phones could be used as well. So basically in this case, a person would load the Google Classroom app on their phone. They would tap the app to open it. They're going to select a class. This is quick, but you'll be able to have access to it at your leisure. this copy of the presentation. So they would select a class. They would select classwork at the bottom. They would select the assignment that they're working on. There's a little arrow at the bottom where the hand is that you can see. They would add an attachment, use a camera. So again, if a student wrote something down, or let's say they're just taking a photograph of, hey, take a picture of a green tree or a purple tree, they could use their camera. In this case, I did an example of student work that was written, and it'll prompt you to take a picture with your camera. It's going to ask me whether I want to use the photo. It's going to start loading, and then a blue button on the far right that says turn in will pop up. The student will be asked to verify that they want to turn it in, and you're all set. So again, that would be the format of using the app to turn in. Specifically, that's best used for taking a photo of some type of work. So I'll go back to Classroom. And the final type of assignment that I'm modeling here, and again, there's all kinds of variations that can happen depending on the teacher. I have a quiz type of assignment. So if I click on quiz vowels, again, it will expand out. I'm going to go to view assignment. In this case, there's a quiz here. So there's a link that says vowel quiz that says Google Forms. As a student, I would click this link, and it will take me to what's called a Google form. In this case, I put the video in again, and it's going to say select all the letters that are vowels. I'm just going to pick some random ones, some right, some not right, and then I'm going to click submit form. And if the teacher sets it up, a student may be able to view their score, or they can go back to the assignment and open it and see what it said in the directions. Okay, and you'll notice that I submitted the form, in which case automatically the blue button over here that says turn in no longer says turn in, it says unsubmit. And this is the case for other assignments. If a kid was like, oh, I decided I need to unsubmit and continue working on this before the deadline, you can click unsubmit and it will allow the student to continue working on the assignment. Let me pop out of this one and go back here. And again, I'll show you that unsubmit is a good thing to know. So I'm going to go back to another one that says short vowel song, view assignment. If I turn in, this is again a document that I worked on and typed information. I'm going to click turn in. This will flag the teacher that it's been done. Now the option is unsubmit. So if a student wants to go back to it and edit it, they're like, ooh, I didn't mean to turn it in, because now I can't edit it anymore because I turned it in. What the student would have to do is unsubmit. Now, if a student unsubmits, note that if they unsubmit it, it will look as though it's missing. And then if they resubmit it after the deadline, it will show up as a late assignment. So those are the different kinds of assignments. I'll wrap up the lay of the land with just the top part here. So we have view your work. So I showed you one way of viewing work, depending on if this makes sense for the student and the teacher. You can also click view your work. If you select view your work, it just shows you a list of the assignments, whether they're turned in or assigned. So that's a different view that you can click on in Classroom. If there's a Meet code or a video conference, a student could click the Meet code here. In this case, there's no meeting happening because it's supposed to happen at 9 a.m. on a future date. So a student cannot join a meeting unless the parent, I'm not the parent, but the teacher is present. So I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. I have a computer on my left where I'm going to go ahead and join the meeting as a teacher. Okay, now that the teacher has joined the meeting, the student can join the meeting. So the student can click Meet at the top of the classwork page. They can, again, also click it at the top of the stream page. So they can go from either direction. So I'm going to click Meet there. And now you'll notice that it's not blocking me anymore. It's actually allowing me to join a meeting. So a student would just say, actually in this case, they can often block notifications. Here's where you control turning on the camera and microphone, and then they would join. And again, because the teacher was already in the meeting, I can now join the meeting, and the teacher can now, let's say I'm the teacher may do a presentation, they may show things on their screen. So that is joining the video conferencing. And that button's at the top here. Now, these dates here on the bottom with assignments, again, many students like to just manage their work here, but it also populates a student's calendar. So if I click on this calendar, all the assignments I created for next week, so they won't show up on today, but if I click to next week, let me allow on this case, oops, let me click on the next week, and then you'll be able to see the assignments and their due dates and times for the different classes. So again, I'll click out of that. And again, you can click the calendar and it will show the assignments and their due dates in a calendar format instead of through Google Classroom. Okay, last little button I'll show you here is the class drive folder. So whenever a student receives a document or they attach a document, including photographs of their work, it will also be located in their drive. So if they click on this link, it will take them to where it's stored, equivalent of their hard drive in the past, but it would be their cloud-based drive. Again, most students and teachers do not manage work here, so I won't bother clicking that at this time. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up with one last thing, and then I guess we'll go to questions. So I'm gonna scroll down. Actually, sorry, let me go to the home page, which is the stream where everybody lands. If I go to the main menu on the far left, an important thing is to know about, there's a to-do list. So if you click the to-do list, what it will do is we'll list in linear format all the work that's due. Mine's gonna be crazy because I have a bunch of classes that I'm enrolled in for samples, but let's say family PD, then it will show a short list because I can just show the classes that I'm currently enrolled in, or I can look at all classes. So that's the triple stack. That's another way to look at assignments and due dates and all that. So that's the to do for classes I'm enrolled. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's what's called settings. So my understanding is the default settings for students is to receive email notifications. So this will be turned on here. This is a master switch where every time there's comments, every time there's classes of students enrolled in and these things happen, classes you teach, every time something happens with one of these descriptors, the student or your child would get an email. So you can actually customize this. If you turn this all the way off, there will be absolutely no email notifications going into the student's CVUSD district account, not personal emails, but district account. Now, if this is on, you can individually turn off and on the sliders for setting notifications. You can also go to the very bottom, and I believe you can select certain classes as well. So you could say, well, I want to get notifications from this class, but not this class, etc. So you can also refine it down. Okay, so that was a lot of info. I'm going to go ahead and I guess keep my screen sharing, and then let's see if I can have something coming in from either Amy Kayer or Greg Coe.
Actually, I think Superintendent Amati's going to read some of the questions for you.
Okay, great.
Okay. Hi, Peter. Would you still be able to view missing assignments and assignment status on Aries in addition to parent summaries?
Okay, so basically Aries and Google Classroom are separate. So for the elementary grades, for the most part, teachers do not use Aries for their regular grade book, whereas for secondary they do, so that would be a difference. And also, it's not automated, so depending on the teacher, there may be, they may grade things in Classroom and then transfer the grades to Aries, or they may keep things in Classroom, so there's going to be some variation in that. So you'd have to check in with the individual teacher. And what was the second part to that question?
I think you already answered it. Missing assignments or assignment status on areas in addition to parent summaries.
Yeah, so again, it will depend on when or how the teacher is entering that information. So yeah, check in with the teacher.
And then the next one is, why are there different methods to access classrooms?
It's a good question. Just Google does it that way. So there could be a couple things. A teacher could tell their kids just how to access it one way, or I have worked with many students in many classes, and some of them just actually prefer it different ways. So there's those kind of two reasons.
Will the Meet link always be the same?
The Meet link for a specific classroom may stay the same, but a teacher, if they decide they need to change it for some reason, for security purposes or whatever. Now, Meet is very secure, so we don't have to worry about that. But just if for whatever reason they're like, you know what, I want the kids to not use this code anymore, a teacher could regenerate a code that's new. But that new code would be visible to the kids for most teachers at the top of this page, the stream page or classwork page with this button.
Okay. Will they get a different class code before starting classes every day? I think you responded to that already.
Yeah, so again, it depends on how the teacher is having the kids join. Either they're gonna name them, which happens more frequently, especially the lower grades. They just type in the kids' names. The student goes to the classroom, and then they'll see a join button. But for secondary and higher grades, often the teacher will give a join code. So it depends.
Are video conferences recorded?
As far as I know, they are not. That would be a district policy. So as far as my understanding is, they are not recorded.
Yeah. And then in the springs, teachers listed assignment on various platforms like class website, external sites, which was very confusing and overwhelming. Are all assignments now going to be logged in classwork?
So again, this will be individual to students. To teachers. So I think based on, this hit all of us pretty hard at the end of the school year. So now people are basically using Google Classroom at a higher degree. And I believe that it has been said that fewer platforms are better. So teachers use the best tool that they can for the students, but we also need to recognize and are recognizing that we can't have too many tools out there. So again, that will be something you communicate with the teacher. It seems like most teachers will be using Google Classroom as much as possible, and then they may or may not be linking additional resources through their classroom or through a website. Again, that's going to kind of take shape as the new reality of what we're doing now is going to happen.
Okay, and I think this one is for Mr. Ko. When I click on the camera icon, I got an error message. Your camera is currently unavailable. Please check if the camera is properly connected. Do I need to install something?
Yeah, so I don't know if Mr. Ko can chime in on that. I don't know if that would be something what's it called? That would be through the family, assistance of the tech, because all students are getting Chromebooks, and that would mean there's something wrong with the Chromebook because it should just be click the button and it works.
Yeah, it should be just to click the button and it works. I'm not sure if that question was regarding the personal device that was being used for the meeting or if that was for the Chromebook. If it's for a Chromebook, then please submit just a trouble ticket and then we can try to help solve that on an individual basis.
Okay. Will all relevant links be sent out prior to Thursday?
Well, in terms of a couple of ways to answer that is in terms of relevant links, in terms of support, I would say the website that is created by Mr. Ko and myself that is at the beginning of these pages, here, we'll have a bunch of resources available with updates that will happen periodically depending on need. But separately in terms of teachers, I think that again would be something that's communicated with the teacher in the parents. So I would say that, or parents and students actually. And so I would say that probably if it isn't already, between now and Thursday when school starts, there should be some kind of communication from the teacher to at least the student and most likely also the parents and guardians.
Yeah. Do the assignments auto-save before you turn in?
Yeah, so that's a wonderful thing about Google is that everything is auto-saving in the cloud. So the students no longer have to worry about clicking save, but they do have to turn in if there's a due date and they want it to show up as turned in on time, but it is constantly auto-saving.
Mm-hmm. So do students actually need a mobile phone in addition to their Chromebook to take photos of the assignment and turn it in?
No, they do not. That was just one special thing that works super efficient with the app. And that's why that is on that web page. But no, students will not be required to have a phone or a tablet to actually take photographs of work. So there are methods on the Chromebook. It's just too many steps to kind of show in the presentation today.
Yeah. Is there a presentation? Is there somewhere they can go to find that out? Is it one of your Google videos or something?
Yeah, so it has not been created yet, but that will be a project that I'll be working on in short order. So my hope would be to have it on the virtual learning resources page, and it would be here on this lower part with video tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
The quick way of looking at it in general is with the attachments. So most work that students will be doing will be attachments. And so if I click on a particular assignment, I can add or create. So notice it says Google Drive, link, file, etc. So in that presentation I showed, I would hope that Google at some point adds the photo option here to just make it easier without having as many steps. But with the phone, it's just the easiest, but it's not required for families to have that. So will be something that I will try and get a video of in short order, and it would be located on the virtual learning resources, and it would be at the bottom for families to access.
Okay. All right. Will there be a link sent out via email? I'm now getting lost in the questions.
Yeah.
They keep moving up.
There's only a few hundred people, that's all.
Yeah. And like I said at the beginning, we will look at all these questions and do an FAQ or some sort of a response to everybody so that you have it. But I really highly encourage everyone to check out the website with all this information that that Mr. Ko and Mr. Vallejo have put together. So there's just a lot of information, and when we send this presentation, it'll be recorded and we'll send it out. It'll be posted actually, probably there, right? Amy?
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect. Okay. Amy, do you want to read some of these questions? They're going too fast for me to.
Yeah, mine are too, actually. But I think a few of the questions are asking some very specific questions regarding material pickup, information regarding class-specific questions. Those really need to go to your school site secretary and principal. We are unable to answer those questions. So I might skip over some of those. But yeah, let me start. One question is, how do kindergartners get emails?
So as Mr. Ko pointed out at the beginning, with going to Aries to figure out the username and password, a family with their younger students could open the Chromebook, they log in with the username and password, and to go to the student email, I'll go to a page that would have something like that. Well, even if they're on the classroom page, anywhere you see this waffle, or what's called the apps waffle, so it's here in Google Classroom, or if I'm in Mail too, of course it's there. So for students to get to it once they log in, they will also see, actually, let me go to the landing page. So as soon as they log into their Chromebook, it won't have this image here, it'll have some default image, but in the upper right-hand corner, there's a button that says Gmail. And again, there's also the apps waffle here where it allows them to click into commonly used apps that they'll be using. But they can, again, once you have the information from Aries with the username and password, they open the Chromebook, they log in, they can click Gmail here. Also at the bottom, there's called the shelf. So again, at the very bottom, there's a logo for Gmail there. So you could go either way, or literally you can just type the word gmail.com. And because it's associated with a district Chromebook, it already knows that it's a district Gmail account. So if I click Gmail, it will take me to my student account.
Boy, Mr. Vallejo, you have a lot of emails.
Yes. Well,
What
and this
will
is my, and this is the student account. Well, that I don't check those emails. So they're.
I know. So what will happen if, I guess I'll try to answer this one. What will happen if the child doesn't do the work? You, as a parent, if the kids are not doing their work, you will get information from teachers. They will reach out to you. There's actually, there are steps that teachers and administrators are taking to make sure if the students are not engaged, to check in to make sure we can help you with that. But you will hopefully when you check to see what's worked, you will see that. But if they don't, you will also, I'm sure, be contacted by the teacher. Does anybody need to add anything to that?
Yeah, and I'll just add, if you hopefully can take, sit down with your child and kind of just have them log into Classroom with them, and they can kind of show you what's going on. But again, also, if you want the parent guardian summaries, that's on the virtual learning resources for families. You can click on this to kind of see a greater explanation of what that is. But you would need to request from the teacher that they add your email address to be able to receive those parent guardian summaries. And those guardian summaries, again, don't allow you to actually get into the classroom. They basically just give you a document that shows the workflow that's happening, both missing, upcoming, et cetera, work.
Mm-hmm. So what if a child runs into a technical problem, kicking them out of Zoom or video classroom or something like that? How do they let the teacher know?
Well, so they can, because all students have email accounts, they can email the teacher directly. One way to do it, especially if Classroom is being used to a great degree, is from the Classroom page, there's a tab that's People. So the student can just click People, and then they see Teachers, and then there's the teacher's name. They click the mail icon, and then they can just type their teacher an email. So it'll depend on the constructs that the teacher has. So that's one way that they could communicate with the teacher directly through email, but also they can, with some of the assignments, they can do private comments to the teacher and things like that. Most direct would be email though. And again, that's one way. Or if the student just goes to their Gmail, they can compose an email from there and just say compose on the left side. And then just type in an email, start typing the teacher's last name, and it should autofill the teacher's last name, and then they can send the email to the teacher in that manner. Mine's not, oh, there we go. It's finally loading. So let's say I want to send one to, again, this is a student account that's actually Pedro Vallejo. So I'm going to do P Vallejo, and you'll notice that it starts autofilling because it knows what this teacher name is in the system. They can click that and then type their subject and topic. And have in mind, for security purposes, all students have district Gmail accounts, but those district email accounts, from my understanding, they cannot send emails out nor receive emails in from outside organizations. So it's very safe internal environment where you don't have to worry about it.
Great, thank you. Maybe one more question, and then what we're going to do is just look at all of the questions later on. And have responses for folks. What's the time frame? This is a good question for students to sign in. Are they expected to be on right at 8 o'clock, all at the same time?
Again, that's going to be determined by the teacher. So there's criteria being established by the district for teachers, and then teachers are then probably providing that information to their students as well as from principals to families. So in general, if there's a schedule and there's a video conference, the teacher will say this is mandatory, in which case it will be mandatory.
Okay. And I'm going to just do this one question. I think you already answered it. If something is wrong with the Chromebook, who should they contact? Mr. Ko, I think you explained that, but if you could just repeat that one more time, and then we'll answer all the questions later.
Yes, so we have a technology support request. So if you go to the technology department, or actually if you go where Peter is going, you'll see that there's some resources here. Just go ahead and submit a request, and we'll see if we can help you solve that if it's easy. The other piece that we'll have is that the school sites will have additional loaner devices that you can go pick one up there as well to use if your Chromebook is not working well. So that's the way that you can work if you're having problems with your Chromebook.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We do have some more questions that we'll answer later in an FAQ. More information will come your way, but really, again, check the website. But I want to thank all of the families who are on here for their support. I know this is nothing that you signed up for before. So when when we have children and we say they're going to go to school and they're going to learn and do their thing, and then they're going to come home and I'm just going to help them with their homework at home. Things have changed, and we have COVID-19 to thank for that. But I just want to thank Mr. Vallejo and Mr. Ko for this session, and Miss Amy Cayer for setting it up. We have another session on Thursday. It's the same presentation repeated. And you said there's a recording, and then there were videos, Mr. Vallejo, that you said that you were going to show them. It's on your website, right?
Yeah, there's already 3 videos and 1 tutorial.
Perfect.
And then as the need progresses, there might be a handful added.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone.